This is my second women's rights video. This is the only way that the world can change for the better. All the world's women to rise up and continue to fight for their political, economic and social rights because of history, the last 2,000 years. And the parliament should be, throughout the world and in Australia, should be full of women. And my message to every woman in this world is, when you vote for a political man, you are in fact voting for the destruction of the lives of women. That's what you're voting for, because throughout history, history proves that their number one achievement is the destruction of women. So when you go to the ballot throughout the world, women who get to vote, there are women in many countries who still don't get to vote. You have to vote, you need to vote, you ought to vote for a woman political candidate. As I said, every woman in this world who votes for a political man, you are voting for the continued destruction of the rights and lives of women and little children as well. You're in fact voting for the continuation of violent sexual crimes, physical and sexual violence against women and little children, and it's getting worse. It's a matter of survival now for women throughout the world. Their freedom, safety, well-being and protection, that it's in your best interest to vote for women political candidates, and that's the only way the world can change for the better, in my view, in lots of areas, and particularly voting for Christian women who have a great capacity to discern between, excuse me, they have a greater capacity to discern between the difference, they have a greater capacity to discern the difference between good and evil and make effective decisions accordingly. So Christian women have that greater capacity. And you've got idiots like Mark Latham. Well, that's the first issue I want to talk about. I want to talk about feminism, the concept of feminism. You've got idiots like Mark Latham making commentary about feminism. The word feminism or feminist is a non-existent word. It's an erroneous, derogatory term used to further destroy the rights of women and lives of women. In fact, it's erroneous. It's an erroneous male literary construct which was created by men to further destroy the rights and lives of women. When men talk about feminism or feminists, they are really talking about women. They are degrading women. And when women degrade women or other women on the basis of feminism, they are actually degrading women. They're not talking about feminists or feminism. They're talking about women. And that's a word that they use. I reject the concept of feminism and feminist. I definitely am not that way. It doesn't exist. It's an erroneous male literary construct, as I said, to further destroy and degrade. It's a derogatory term used to destroy the rights and lives of women. And so there is no equivalent male construct, literary construct to feminism. Does anybody notice that? What is the equivalent male literary construct to the word feminist or feminism? It doesn't exist. So it's a very derogatory and demeaning term to belittle and demean women in general. So be aware of that when you hear particularly men talking about feminists. They're actually degrading women. That's what they're doing. I also have advice for women throughout the world, young women, particularly young women, it's in your best interest to pursue singleness, devote your lives to Jesus Christ, the New Testament, and fight forever for your political, economic and social rights. It's a question of survival, really, for women in a lot of countries, and their well-being, safety and protection. And also increasingly in Western nations as well, including Australia and the United States and European nations. So it's really very important that we fight to remove political men from the world's parliaments. They've proven for 2,000 years that they will never share equal political power with women, that they're very greedy, selfish and corrupt, and their main achievements are physical and sexual violence against women, destruction of women and economic corruption. So a lot of them will burn in hell, most of them will go to hell, and they're not to be trusted unless they're on my team. I only trust men who are on my team and who support my work and support the work of other Christian women in Australia and throughout the world. Those are the men that I can work with and learn to trust and respect, but the others are, in my view, garbage and satanic, evil, violent and completely selfish and action and in support physical and sexual violence against women and children and economic corruption. So they're satanic men, and they need to basically repent and go and, you know, sit in a house, sit in a corner or whatever. They shouldn't be in positions of authority and power and leadership, men like that. So just a few additional words there about some of my views. I also want the public to know that I respected my father. I had a very good father. I love my father. I had a pretty good relationship with him, probably better than most of my other siblings, my relationship with him. And he would be really proud of me. He was always very proud of me. And, you know, he was proud of my intellect and my desire to fight for good things and pursue better life for myself and for particularly fighting for the rights of the vulnerable people in our society and that people who don't have a voice. My father, I loved my father. He was married to my mother for 53 years and they had 9 children and we were all born in WA. But one criticism I have of my father is that he didn't treat my mother as well as he should have. And I told him that many times. So we did have arguments about things, obviously. But it was healthy, you know, we could talk about pretty much everything. And I let him know when I wasn't happy with the way I was treating my mother or that sort of thing. So I also have 5 brothers whom I respect. I have male friends who I respect. And yeah, so there is some commentary out there that I hate men. That's not true. It's absolutely not true. I just want you to stop your evil physical and sexual crimes of violence against women and children throughout this world. That's what I want you to do, to stop it. And I will fight forever for your gender to stop that physical and sexual violence against women and children. And that's a good thing. And my father would be proud of me for doing that. So I make a clear distinction between good men in this world and satanic men. I think about 50% of the world's men are good and 50% are evil. And I would hope that all Australian women would vote for someone like me. 100% of Australian women would vote for someone like me, and probably 50% of the men in this country to vote for someone like me and support my work, because the 50% of the men are what I consider good men, and they should be working with all the women in this country and throughout the world to stop the other 50% who hurt women and children and who overpower them and destroy their rights and lives in lots of ways, in economic ways as well, because that's what power does. That's power, and they won't let go of that power. That's been evident for 2,000 years. So they need to leave the parliaments. It's very selfish and greedy and, you know, corrupt for them to treat women and children in this world in the manner that they have for 2,000 years, you know. I think mostly only Christian women should be in the world's parliament, and a few good men who will support their work. So, but I think that, you know, I think the judgment's already been made on them. I think they know. I think they know that women like me are speaking the truth. They know what their gender's like. I get all sorts of commentary on my YouTube channel. They don't. What their actually real views about women is pretty shocking. They think women are stupid and you know. I even had one man comment that pedophilia was acceptable and normal, and I was pretty horrified about that. Anyway, so yeah, that's just what I wanted to say in this time. Thanks very much.